Hey guys, JJJBoxing here. So I want to talk about Dmitry Bivol, and obviously a great fighter. We last seen him against Zurdo Ramirez, Gilberto Ramirez. That was supposed to be possibly a competitive fight, but he made him look like he was nothing. And but that was like a year ago almost now, I think. It was like 2022, maybe November, I think. And then we've seen before that what he did to Canelo, which I knew he was going to do to Canelo. Been following Bivol since the HBO days, 10 years ago. Came on the scene. The guy has skills, and he showed it consistently for his whole career. He's a disciplined fighter. I don't think he drinks or smokes, any of that. So yeah, like I think when I started watching him, it might have been the Cedric Agnew fight that when I first started noticing him. Maybe Samuel Clarkson. I might have seen that fight, but I think it was the Cedric fight. And then we seen what he did to Sullivan Barrera, Isaac Chilemba, Jean Pascal, Joe Smith Jr. List goes on. I knew he was going to do that. So yeah, that was like back in, let's see here, quite a while ago. Yeah, quite a while ago. Actually, it might have been before that fight, Cedric fight. No, I think it was around there. So it was around, I guess, over 6 years ago. I thought it was longer than that, but anyway, he's finding it difficult to find someone to fight right now. His team, his promoter, they've been wanting to be more active, but like I said, they haven't fought since the Ramirez fight, and that was back in. Okay, yeah, that was back in November of 2022. And the problem is, his promoter is no one wants to fight him. And I can understand why. Because he's like, you're going to go in with Bivol and you're just going to get outboxed. And you're not even going to get a really good payday either. Like, I know he's got the WBO belt, I'm pretty sure. Or WBA, sorry. He's got the WBA belt. But it's like, he's not, even though he beat Canelo, he's still not a star, really. Just his English isn't that great. He's Russian. Does he? I think he lives in Canada, maybe, though. Yeah, he lives in Canada or something like that. But he just hasn't been promoted really well to the point where people recognize him and know him. Obviously, the boxing fans know him, but the casuals don't know Bivol. So for those fighters who are offered a fight against Bivol, like, you're not getting a big payday, really, and you're probably going to get outboxed. I guess the only upside to a Bivol fight is you become a world champion, so that is a pretty big. I really don't know why you wouldn't want to fight, to be honest. Aren't you in the sport to become a world champion? So I really don't get that, but if you're in it just for the money and you're more about the payday, then I can understand why you would not want to fight Bivol. You're not going to get paid that good, and you're just going to get boxed. Like, you're going to get schooled, but yeah. That's what his promoter's saying. He's saying it's difficult to find fighters right now to challenge Bivol. They tried making fights, a bunch of fell through. They tried making a Canelo rematch fight. They couldn't agree to terms, so that fell apart. But they want to get him in the ring by, they're saying, October, November this year. So I don't know. It'd be a pretty quick promotion, whoever's going to fight, right? It wouldn't be much of a build-up. But then again, he's probably not going to fight a really big name anyway, so maybe it doesn't even need a build-up, I guess. He is in training camp for a potential fight. Like, he's in the even though there's not a fighter announced, he is training for a fight, like pre-camp, I guess. But they tried, apparently, at the 175 division, there's not really anybody there except Beterbiev, and he has a fight coming up later in the year. He had a, I think he had a jaw infection or something, so he had to postpone his fight with Callum Smith. So that fight's in January though, so he's off the table. So really, you only got the only person that's really in the 175 pounders. That's the only fight people want to see at this point at 175. Those are clearly the two best fighters. No one else can really beat Bivol except Beterbiev, and no one really else has a name in that division besides Beterbiev. But they did try making fights with Dan Aziz and Joshua Butazi. I don't know if I'm not saying his name right, but I've heard of these guys. Haven't really seen them fight. Sometimes the UK fighters, I don't see a lot of coverage, so I know a lot more about the American fighters. Like I said, unless it's like they cross over, I don't know a lot about these guys. I've heard of them, but they are the two best contenders. They're in the top 10 for Bivol, but apparently they declined to fight. Both of them, Dan Aziz and Joshua Butazi, declined to fight Bivol, and they're fighting each other. So yeah, those guys are off the table. And then if you look at the other guys in the top 10, there's really no one. And those guys don't even have a name I just mentioned, really. Like, I know in the UK they probably got a name, but here no one knows them, let's be honest. I barely see, I don't even know if I've seen these guys fight, to be honest. Yeah, so does he have to go down to 168, Bivol, to find someone to fight? They did say, though, that he is in talks right now to face someone at the end of the year. They can't say who yet, but they're in the process of coming to terms with somebody. But there was a possible mention, though, of Jaime Munguia, but then that maybe fell through as well, they're saying. But they do want to go back to him in the future, they're saying. So it's a possible future fight, according to Bivol's team. So like I was saying, there's no one at 175 for Bivol, guys, except Artur Beterbiev. Let's be honest, we don't want to see him fight anyone else in the top 10 there. Don't see anybody. The light heavyweight division has really dried up. Beterbiev and Bivol have just cleaned it up. And so I think he has to go down to super middle to find some big names and maybe some competition as well. Because I really do think Beterbiev is the only fighter that can maybe challenge Bivol, but I don't even think Beterbiev can beat Bivol. Bivol, I don't see no one beating Bivol anytime soon. But let's just say he goes down to 168, which he says he can do, and Bivol actually said he can easily make the weight, and he's not a big guy. He's like 5'10", I think, and you can tell he's not a huge man. Like, David Benavidez looks bigger than him. But yeah, that brings me to my other point here. We go down to 168. We have the Sal Canelo Alvarez rematch there, if he beats Charlo. We have Charlo, if he stays there, if he beats Canelo. We got David Benavidez. We got Jaime Munguia, Demetrius Andre. You have John Ryder, but that's not really an exciting fight. Caleb Plant. You have Caleb Plant. So all those names I just mentioned, guys, are really good fights that he could possibly do. David Morrell is there. He doesn't have a big enough name, though, I don't think yet. So, yeah, I really do think that Bivol will maybe have to fight someone from 168 or fight a nobody. Or not a nobody, but someone that people really don't want to see him fight at 175. Maybe a top 10 guy, but no one knows him, and really they don't got a chance, let's be honest. I think the best bet competitively and a fight that will sell would be someone from 168. I think a David Benavidez fight would be huge. That is probably the best fight you could make at 168 right now. Other than like a Canelo Benavidez or a Charlo Look, we got to see what Charlo does. If he wins, he's in the conversation. If he doesn't, then it's still Canelo. But I'm thinking, Bivol David Benavidez fight is huge. I just don't see that happening next. That would be real nice, though. That would be my top pick. And but yeah, too bad we can't get the Jaime Munguia fight. For some reason, they're saying it's not going to happen. He says possibly in the future. So I don't think Jaime has any fights coming up, though. I don't think. I could quickly look it up to see if he has any fights coming up or any news. Yeah, there's no news on Jaime Munguia, really. So yeah, I would like to see that too. I think that would be interesting. Yeah, so guys, BoxRec is kind of being weird right now. It's not loading properly. Yeah, so he wants to return though for the end of the year. His team is saying. But really, yeah, he might have to just face somebody no one knows at 175. It might look like that might happen. It will be disappointing. Because if he doesn't, he has to go to 168 or someone has to move up to 175 because there's nobody for him. If he's going to fight at this end of the year, there is nobody he can fight at 175 that people will know and that it will be competitive. There's just no one there. So my thing is, I think try to make that Jaime Munguia fight, a David Benavidez fight. That sounds too good to be true. It seems too, I don't know. I just don't see that happening right away at the end of the year. It seems like they don't have enough time to build that fight up. So that would be my top pick, though. Other than that, there's really nobody. Like I said, he wants to fight at the end of the year. It's not next year. Because if it's next year, yeah, sure. You can mention Canelo. You can mention Beterbiev. But in the meantime, I don't know why BoxRec's not working right now. In the meantime, he's got to fight someone. So not much to pick from, guys, at 175. But 168, I really hope he does consider someone there. It would be interesting, though, if he would move down there, because you have a lot of interesting fights, like I just said, you got there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this situation. He's having it tough to find someone to fight, which is understandable. A guy like Bivol, like I said, you're just not getting, and you're not getting the same praise when you beat Bivol. If, say, you beat someone like a Canelo, right? Or you beat a David Benavidez. I feel like Bivol just doesn't have that same name, even though he is. You will become champ if you beat him. So if you're a real fighter, you should want to fight him. So I don't understand why no one want to fight him. But money-wise, maybe, yeah, it's too much risk and you're not really getting a good payout, I guess. But yeah, so I think 168 he should go down to. Let's make the David Benavidez fight happen. Let's make the Jaime Munguia fight. Let's make the Caleb Plant fight. I would like to see those fights. You have Demetrius Andre there as well. So yeah, guys. And in the meantime, we'll have to do with some nobody, though, at 175 until Beterbiev. I think that's how it's probably going to play out. But maybe we'll get a surprise and he will fight someone from who I just listed. That would be nice. But no one is beating Bivol. Dmitry is just too skilled. He knows that distance. He's so good at measuring the distance. His footwork is great. His defense is great. His skills, his technical skills, everything is good. His power is good. If you actually seen the way he was rocking Canelo, you can tell when he wants to sit down on his shots, he can knock you out. We seen it with Sullivan Barrera when he flattened him, I think with a right hand, and he got a TKO win there. So when he wants to, he can sit down and he can knock you out, but he prefers to not put full power on each of his shots and technically just set you up with shots and bank some rounds in until you're too far gone to even win a decision. So, yeah, no one's beating Bivol. I don't even think Beterbiev can beat him, and I don't think David Benavidez can beat him. But if I had to pick two guys that can maybe challenge him, because I don't think Canelo can do it, even in a rematch, he just can't do it. The two guys that can maybe challenge him for his title is Beterbiev or David Benavidez. They got the size for it. Caleb Plant would be interesting, but I don't think he would. I just don't. That would be stylistically interesting. I'm not going to lie. I would like to see that, but I think you need some sort of strength, though, to deal with Bivol. And strength plus skill. So, and that's what Beterbiev has. Same with David Benavidez. I don't know if Caleb Plant has enough power. Just maybe he doesn't have the style, right? But it would be interesting to see how his boxing skills would match up against Bivol's. But yeah, no one beating Bivol anytime soon. The guy is still in his prime. I think he's like, was he 33, 32? Around there. I know Beterbiev's getting up there, so he really has to hopefully fight Bivol after this Callum Smith fight. Because if he doesn't, he's going to be like, I think, past 40 at that point. And, oh yeah, Bivol is 32. Yeah, so no one's beating Bivol anytime soon. The guy's disciplined, and he's just there to win. He's a boxer. He loves the sport. And he's just going to keep on ranking up wins. So yeah, guys. Been watching this guy since the HBO days. And I think he's top 10 pound for pound. He's on my top 10 pound for pound. Like I said, no one's beating him around his weight class. So this is Triple J Boxing, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know why you think he's having trouble finding a fight. Like I said, if you're in it for the legacy, in it for the belts, you should be running towards Bivol. But these guys, maybe they want a good payday, and they don't want that risk that Bivol has, right? So it's kind of like they're getting the short end of the stick, right? If you all you want is the money, then Bivol's not the fight you want. But if you want legacy, you want belts, you know going through Bivol will be good in the long run for the money as well. So I just don't know why people... I don't know. It's not the fighters. It's probably just the teams don't want that. They don't want that smoke with Bivol. They would rather other fights. So it's a shame, though. I want to see Bivol fight more, but it is what it is. This is Triple J Boxing. Take care, guys.